We lit. We back, family. We back. Alright. Cool. Islam to the family. If you tuning in, you just tuning in, family. Welcome back, family. I don't know what the fuck's going on. You know, they gave me a little trouble. Welcome. I am Islam Bey. When I say Islam, I mean I, self-law, and master. Know thyself, govern thyself, family. You know how we doing this. Facts over feelings, right? Study more to know more. So I'm getting back into the United Nations Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous People. The rights of Indigenous people, right? So I had a little trouble even uploading the first one. They just cut somehow it just cut the feed of the first live stream I just did, family. So, if you tuning in and, the family that, got, thrown off of it, send them the link, so they could just tune back in. And we're going to go over this real fast, family, in case, some bullshit happen again. We're going to go over the rights of indigenous people, family, right? Because we're going to tell you that you're indigenous, right, to this land, right? The original ones here on this land when they showed up. And they told you this, right? They told you, Columbus 1492, right? And when he showed up, he seen Indians. That's what they called them, right? But in the end, you the Indian, right? Because if you look up Native American, right, in the Webster's Dictionary, right, 1825, Native American, it says the Aboriginal natives, right, that were here, right, the indigenous people, right, that was here when Columbus arrived, the copper-colored natives, put a penny up to you, right, look like that copper, right, my beard's black, my shades are black, my hat is black, black's an adjective, right, describes, black beard, black shades, black hat, can't find black land on any map, trust me, I've looked, for all my educated dummies, I've looked. So all the scholars that's telling you that, when they're calling you black, they're not talking about your skin color. They're talking about a status. Black denotes the status. And what status, is that? The status of the slave, the status of their property. Want to prove that you're property? Look up the Christian Black Codes of 1724. These are the codes that they deal with, they use when they dealing with property, when they stop a slave. Because you're still confessing to be their slave. Thinking it means black pride, like I know what you mean at heart, but when they say black, they're talking about a status. When they say white, they're talking about a status. We went over that, right? Let's explain the two statuses, right? White status. Look up free white persons in the Black's Law Dictionary, right? Look up free white persons in the Webster's Dictionary, right? And it's going to tell you that's a status, right? So when they say white, and they haven't been calling themselves white before the 1800s. So when they say white, they're talking about a status. What status? The status of the sovereign, right? The noble, the one that originally of the land, right? But they took your status, right? So now they're running with the black, you're running with the black status. They're running with the white status. Two opposites, two extreme opposites. And I'll give you the analogy. The white status would be, if you was getting on a plane, right? It would be the super first class G4 jet, status, get head on the plane, champagne, the works, right? That status. Now, black would be the status of not economy, not layover, don't get a flight, sleep in the airport, go back home, never get a flight status. You see the black status, family? And you complain that it's racism and they discriminate against you via the Christian black codes. They deal with you as property because you keep confessing to be property. And law, family. We told you to look up civiliter mortuus, which makes you dead in the eyes of the law. You have no rights. You keep screaming, right? Give us rights and this, that. You got privileges, right? The privilege to drink at a water fountain, the privilege to sit on the bus, right? Remember before when they was beefing about that? They ain't let you, sit in a movie theater next to them and shit like that, because those were privileges that they gave to the slaves. And then you kept fighting for those and they gave you a few more privileges, but you never started fighting for the rights of the human. At what point do you start fighting for the rights of the human? See the difference? And if you are a human, you need to look up the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Since you're saying you're a human, you're not property. So if you're agreeing with me, you understand at this point that black's a status. It has nothing to do with your skin color, right? You don't want to be civiliter mortuus. You don't want to be dead in the eyes of the law. You don't want to be a stateless person. A stateless person is people that don't belong to any nation on the planet. You can't belong to nowhere Africa. That doesn't exist, family. What nation did they take you from over there? Hashtag, where are the slave ships? Any scholar that's talking that 400 years shit, we already dispelled it. 1619 to 1865, that's not 400 years. Hashtag where are the slave ships? And I want to see a real slave ship, not a replica that they got in Baltimore, not the replica, because if you had thousands of trips, you should have thousands of ships. Where are the ships? Hashtag where are the slave ships? And they know it, you see, but they keep you in your feelings because they know you're not going to investigate the things you've been told because you're a believer, right? They started as children, got you believing shit, believing in the Easter bunny that lays eggs, and in real life, rabbits don't lay eggs. That don't even make sense. See? Santa Claus coming down the chimney, and most of you people don't have a chimney, but that don't make sense. But you lie to your babies. So you teach them, you know what I mean, to be lied to, and then you tell your babies to stop lying. Sounds like a contradiction there. Baby's gonna hold you accountable for the fuckery you told them. Right? You do the flag salute in school, your kids doing the flag salute, I pledge allegiance to the republic, and then the politicians get on TV and say, yeah, we have a democracy. You need to look up those words, because they overthrew the republic and created their de facto government. Yeah, that's what they did. And they're trying to censor this, family. You know what I'm saying? I did up to maybe 40 videos on Facebook, and I had to take it over to my YouTube page because, like, the last 2 videos I just did yesterday, right? Yesterday, family, I did a 2-hour live stream. Now, the family could hear me completely because everyone's commenting. Nobody's saying the sound went out. I go back to play the video, and they cut the sound at 40 minutes. They cut the sound right before I go into this. Right before I go into this. The rights of indigenous people. That's when they cut the feed, family. And as I'm telling you, because that's going to break the spell of calling yourself black, calling yourself property. That's going to give you all your black power you keep saying you have. But if you look, you have no power. Because black power, you lack power. Want to prove it? You keep screaming it. They don't hear you. You keep screaming black power. They see your fists. What changes? Oh, do you get a few more privileges? You cool with those. You don't want rights. You don't want rights of the human because you don't want to declare I am that I am. You don't even want to say you the human. You want to say you the property. Keep confessing to be their property. If you haven't looked up these words, family, don't argue with me. I'm not attacking your black club. I understand what you mean at heart. But I'm telling you at the end of the day, even Huey, those that created the black power concept, were talking nationality. That's why they had to wipe them brothers out. They wasn't just carrying guns because they was angry niggers, angry black guys. No. Everyone that had a weapon, they had to have a license. They had to learn how to assemble and disassemble and clean their weapon. Did you know that? They were licensed to carry? Did you know they wasn't just running around with no strategy? Because I told you, family, we playing a game. But we playing sorry, and they're playing chess. We're playing sorry. You know, I'm sorry. Just give us some rights. You know, give us some privileges. We're slaves. But they're playing chess, and every time they got you checkmated. Every time you checkmated. Because you don't even understand you're playing chess. See? But as this goes, ignorance of the law is no excuse. You first tuning in, family, welcome. I am Islam Bey. When I say Islam, I mean I, self-law, am master. Know thyself, govern thyself, because we the people are the government, charged to uphold and enforce this Constitution. You are part and parcel to this said government. Where you gonna run to? This your land. You gotta clean this mess up. And family, if you're just tuning in, if you know you're not some of the Facebook family that's that's coming over on the feed, if you're new and you're tuning in and you haven't got an email from me, you know, inbox me your email. You know what I'm saying? Or leave your email in the comments. Leave your email in the comments, and you know I'll definitely send you all the keys that I have thus far. So family, it's time for us to correct our concepts, study more to know more. Can't be ourselves, we can't free ourselves, and we keep pretending to be something that we're not. Keep pretending to be their property, keep pretending to be the ancient black slaves, right? The ancient black slave gods, right? And you look at the pyramids and you talk about all that greatness, but you confess out your mouth that you're still there. So it has everything to do, I don't know if the video froze, it has nothing to do with your skin color, right? It has everything to do with a status of these stateless people. Right? You always know how they always create a new name. Secret predators, super predators, right? Terrorists, right? They always come up with all these names other than what they calling you. You're in their way. You're useless eaters. You're the property that they eating off of, so they physically don't need you. Right? Because they got everything, you know, on the stock market. They got your Social Security, they got your birth certificate. We know all this. Study more to know more. We're not talking conspiracy, family. I told you what that conspiracy shit is. You know what I mean? People to conspire, to come together, to carry out a plan. And ain't that what they doing? You see it being carried out all around you. But that's something he believes. That's a theory, a conspiracy theory. Well, last I checked, your religion is the theory, because they're giving you their interpretation of the book, which is a science book, because all the religions were put in place to help you master your lower and higher self, not to worship the preacher, not to worship the Pope, because that's all you're doing. The substitute God is the Pope. We know this. You know God ain't got no bank account. How you get that money? Oh, God must go to Western Union. Want to prove it? Try go to church. Try go to church next week and tell them we mailed all our money into Jesus. We don't have it this week. We sent it straight to the Lord. Pastor gonna clear out that congregation. He gonna cancel church right on the spot. Trust me. Facts over feelings. So we gotta go into this, family, and really understand what we're looking at. So they tried to stop that video that I put on Facebook talking about the rights of indigenous people, because you keep saying that you have rights. Of course you do. You got birth rights. They were given to you by Allah from birth. The Supreme Creator. Whatever you subscribe to, whatever vibration you want to call that, the one, we all saying the same thing. So we're not going to play that, right? And I told you, Moor is not a club, it's not a religion, it's the knowledge of self to show you how to steer. You are of those ancient Al-Moroccans. You are of those ancient Moroccans, right? You are of those ancient Moabites, the Asiatics. You are, right? Whether you choose to be or not, that's on you. But as the history stands, the last legal name in which you fell, 1492, were the Moors. This ain't no club. Sorry if somebody told you, I could be a Hebrew and I could be a Moor, and we still saying the same thing. Because the Hebrew, the Ibri, right, which translates to those that crossed over from the river. Did you know that the Nile River and the Mississippi River connects? That you can take one straight over to the other side? They didn't tell you that. No. I guess they also didn't tell you that, the so-called Africa map that you're looking at, Africa's 5 times the size of the picture they show you on the map. It's a lot closer than what you think. You see? So they had to play these games with you, family. So you would run around and have an identity crisis, right? A lot of us got an identity crisis, right? That Back to Africa movement, right? You standing on Africa, Northwest Africa, Amexem, the Maghreb al-Aqsa, the North Gate, Turtle Island, the Moorish Empire. You standing on it, right? So they tell you, the Back to Africa story, saying everybody gonna try to get back to Africa, So yeah, everybody's trying to get back to Africa and all of that other stuff, right? You trying to get back to somewhere you never left. You left a long time ago on your own account, right? That's still family over there. So we're not saying, we're not Africans. I'm telling you that family, the way you seeing the story is not correct. It's not correct. You know what I'm saying? The way you're looking at it. So you got to correct your concepts. I told you standing on Africa, right? Remember the land separated, right? And they used to call all of us Ethiopians, right? And Ethiopia just means the demarcation line, the separation of your land between Ham and Cush. You read your Bibles, right? Separating of your land. Over there and over here, because it was all together. But they have to confuse you, like you hitting the head, spin you around. Why are you holding on to the story? The people that took you told you the story. And you forever going to die hard with that. You keep saying you this proud, God, and we built the pyramids, but you keep reminding yourself that you the slave. What's that about? And then running on with the slave title and running on with his last name. So what we doing? Straight in error. We in error. I want to agree. So I don't know what's up with the fee, but so we can't, we can't understand what happened to us. Because we running around with the dashikis from India, right? Identity crisis, right? Saying we so African when the Africans on the continent over there, they don't even say they Africans. They say that to, because you don't understand. They're going to tell you straight off the bat. My brother, I'm Nigerian. I'm from Nigeria. My brother, I'm from Senegal. I'm Senegalese. He's not going to tell you I'm all African. You say that. And then he disagrees with you because he's still family, but he knows that we mentally sick. He knows that we have mental issues. See? He knows that we have mental issues. And we have to understand that what happened to us, family? You know what I'm saying? Like we know that we fell. We know that we've been conquered, right? And we have to understand that the people that caused all this injury to us taught us. You heard Lauryn Hill, the miseducation, the miseducation of Lauryn Hill. We all got that miseducation. When you look at, you know, the Rockefellers, you know what I'm saying, their family created the Board of Education in 1902 to teach you niggas how to read or how to misread, how to just sound out words, but you really don't know you're casting spells on yourself. That's why they call it spelling, right? And if you black power and you screaming all, please look up the word black for me. Please look it up in its entirety, and you will understand that they're talking about property. They're black slave. So they can't call you nigga to your face. I wish he would call me nigga, but he calls you his black slave every day, and you're proud of it. You dishonor your ancestors every day. You keep screaming this, I'm so proud, and we, you know, all our ancestors built the pyramids, and we the ancient black. Like, when black isn't ancient, the word isn't ancient. The Egypt you talking about over there isn't ancient. The actual word, right? That's Ukupta, right? It's not Egypt. But you know, they changed the maps. They had to do this, family, in order for you to believe the lie. See the lie in belief? In order for you to be the lie in belief, right? To see the lie, they had to keep telling you their story, their version of the story, over and over and over and over. And they burnt, you know, hundreds of years. They burnt books, family. Burnt books, burnt libraries. We had the biggest libraries around the world. The Moors, yeah. We brought the whole world culture. You keep saying you want your culture back, and you don't want it. Now, this week, family, I'm gonna go to a store that has a lot of artifacts, a lot of Moorish artifacts, and these things are priced out the ass. Like, I'm talking like earrings of a Moabitess, right, with a head wrap with rubies on it. Shit is like 100,000. Like, we're like, you know what I'm saying? They know you're not gonna get it. You know, you're not gonna buy back none of your people's culture, so they hide it from you. It's all in their museums. They know who the Moors are. They know. That's why you went through every history class and they never uttered the word Moor. Never told you who Noble Drew Ali was. Never mentioned Noble Drew Ali. How is that? That they never uttered this brother's name. And there's a reason. And then you got your scholars, your agent volunteers, right? Niggas volunteering to be agents and they don't get a paycheck. You know what I'm saying? They do volunteer hours to help, you know, bring down their people. You see? Like, these agents will tell you that, you know what I'm saying, oh man, you know, we still black, and that more stuff is a club, and that's a religion. And no, that's what they told you. And they infiltrated some of the temples, not all, but some, yeah. Just like they infiltrated some of your buildings, you see? Because they know at some point we would start talking to each other about the truth. At some point we would start talking about nationality. See? At some point we would start talking about nationality. And when you're talking about nationality, you're talking about claiming the nation of the land in which you stand on, right? You're saying that you're indigenous. Yo, we was already here when y'all showed up. They told you. So how is it they never told you about the Moors who ruled the world from 711 AD to 1492? So the Moors were conquered in 1492. When did they show up, family? They showed up in 1492. See the connection? See why they stopped talking about the Moors, never told you in the hard day history classes, and just told you all the black stories about slaves, about black slaves, all the stories about black slaves in your history classes? That was the switch. That was the switch. You didn't catch it. So now I'm going to tell you, you know, because things are going to turn up, right? Let's go into what awards you for just standing up to being yourself, just to say, I am that I am. Your birthrights are restored. But when you continue to say that you're their black slave, you continue to fight in the streets and beg and march and cry and yell for privileges that they decide to give you this week or not. Facts over feelings. I'm going to go straight through this, family. I'm going to go straight through it real quick. I'm going to try to wrap this joint up in another 10 minutes. But I'm going to just go straight through all of the articles, family. So, you know, if you don't read, you know, you ain't got time to read, I'm going to, later in the description, I'll put the link to download this PDF for the rights of indigenous people, right? The United Nations Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous People. I'm going to put that link down here. But I'm going to go over all these, right, for the family that might not got the time to study. You might be riding in your wheel right now. You know what I'm saying? You might be with the babies. You might be at the park. I don't know what you're doing, whatever you're doing. I hope you're enjoying the sun rays from Ra, you know what I'm saying? And raising up your spiritual vibration to the highest, to your higher self, right? Master that lower self. You know, I'm going to just go over it to whereas, family, you could just play this video back in the gym, you know what I'm saying? And just try to memorize a few of these articles. That let you know about the rights that you already have by birth, given to you by Allah. You are Allah. Arm, leg, arm, head. The Supreme Force energy. You are. We all are the individualized expression of the one. Allah having a human experience. Allah manifested in man. Right? So now, let's go straight into it, family. Because I don't know what they're going to do. Try to cut this video, censor this shit. Cut the audio like they did on Facebook. But I'm gonna stand on my square, family, right? Because I don't fear fears me. You heard? I am that I am. So let's go straight into it. Article 1 of the Rights of Indigenous People, family. Article 1 says, Indigenous people have the rights to the full and effective enjoyment of all human rights and fundamental freedoms recognized in the Charter of the United Nations, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and international human rights law. So you're protected international under law, right? As the human, not the slave. You see how this is already Article 1. Just with Article 1, you lit. Just by standing up saying, I am that I am. Oh shit, these niggas showed up on my land. They're the pilgrims, right? They told you, the pilgrims and the Indians. In the end, you the Indian. So they showed up on your land and colonized you on your land, enslaved you on your land. And it wasn't 400 years. More like 100 and something. Probably less than that. I'm still researching, chopping that timeline down. But it damn sure wasn't 400 years. So any of your scholars telling you that, they're an agent. Either on the payroll or they're a volunteer agent. Agent volunteer. Nigga need to get a check. So I'm going to continue on. Article 2. Indigenous individuals and peoples are free and equal to all other individuals and peoples in dignity and rights, and have the rights to be free from any kind of adverse discrimination. Ain't that what you're dealing with that you calling racism? Adverse discrimination. They're discriminating against you because you're pretending to be the property, but you acting like I'm the human and you better give me my rights. Allah already gave them to you. But they were stripped from you because you voluntarily continue to give them up by way of adopting the status of black, which is a status that has nothing to do with the skin color, because your skin isn't black. Stop casting spells on yourself. Look up the word black. While you at it, look up the word civiliter mortuus that makes you dead in the eyes of the law, legally. Don't you keep saying they keep killing people and they get off? Because they get off with immunity because they shot their black car. They black slave. They didn't shoot a human. See? So you keep saying, I ain't got to follow their laws, and, you say black means that in law. Well, I make it mean the Afrocentricity of the black man and the cosmic melanin. Brother, you sound like an educated dummy. You sound like an educated dummy with 5 fucking degrees in stupidity. Correct the errors in your ego. Because, as I said, right, if they kill you and they get off in law, right, so doesn't law apply in this whole conversation? So you can call yourself what you want in your house. When you go outside and you pretend to not be a human, they're going to treat you inhumane. Ain't that what you're seeing? Don't you keep sharing the murders on your timeline? And I'm starting a movement. Hashtag no distractions. Don't share any of those fucking shootings on your timeline, because all you're doing is promoting murders. Promoting murders and murderers. So, are you a part of the oppression? Trying to fight out of this? Are you a part of the oppressed? Or are you a part of the oppressor? Are you an agent volunteer? Because a lot of us say, well, I don't work for the government. I ain't no agent. You might be an agent volunteer. Volunteering to bring apart the demise of your people. You need to check your error and your ego. I'm going to continue on. So we're free from all of that. Adverse discrimination. The indigenous people have that right. Birthright. Birthright, family. You ain't got to march for this. You ain't got to fill out paperwork for this. Just correct your concepts and your mental. Free your mind and the rest will follow. In particular, that based on their indigenous origin or identity. So they can't discriminate based on your indigenous origin or identity. See that, family? But they can discriminate if you keep pretending to not be a human. You damn right. They're going to deal with you via the Christian Black Codes of 1724. You're their property belonging to the church. Yeah. Remember? Because they made you Christians. And when we told you that the Nicene Council, Constantine, that's who you're worshiping. They told you in the book that Yahshua, right? Because his name is Yahshua. It's not Jesus. There's no J in Hebrew. And Jesus just means justice. It's a password. You never get justice. Look around in the cells and you see just us. Yeah. Because God is not raising from the dead. He's not claiming to be I am that I am. They told you in your book, any of my religious people that disagree with me, that think I'm banging on your religion, they tell you in your own book, right? Remember when they asked him, what I'm saying, when Jesus, Yahshua, was there, and they say, when the people ask, what's your name? He said, tell them I am that I am. I exist. That's you. You're not claiming that you exist. You keep saying that you're the slave with black history, which is wiped out history. Artificial, constructed, manufactured history. His story. Article 3, I'm going to speed this up. Indigenous people have the right to self-determination by virtue of that right that freely determine their political status. They have the right to freely determine their political status and freely pursue their economic and social and cultural development. See, you already got the right to that. Set up your industries and all that stuff. So all your black leaders saying we're gonna build it new, family. We're gonna start the new Black Wall Street, family. Like, they're not sincere. They're taking your fiat, right? You putting your hope into them, and they just giving you a bag of hope. No results, no truth, right? You keep GoFunding all these motherfuckers, and they ain't gave you one solution. I'll give you 5 solutions the Prophet gave us: love, truth, peace, freedom, justice. Islam? That's simple. We got to do everything with love, family. Why is all these religions talking about hate? My church is better than their church, and we got the word of God in here. But you know, John 10:13 says, what? Ye are gods. You'll be able to do as I do. Ye are gods. And if you are God, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. The Word's not with us because we're using everybody else's words. We're running around with shit we believe that someone else told us with no research. And then we argue with each other. You want to argue and say, I want to stay a slave. And I'm trying to get you to take the spell off yourself. But you just want to complain. You got to be the victim or the victor. Let's get off our knees praying to God and stand up and be God. I am that I am. Allah, the Supreme Force, the Most High, Yahweh, however you want to call them, family. We saying the same thing. When you understand that and overstand that they're trying to get peace. We need peace, real peace. This is peace. Because every time we practice their peace, they get a peace and leave us in pieces. Facts over feelings. And Article 4 says, Indigenous people have the right to maintain and strengthen their distinct political, economic, social, and cultural characteristics, as well as their distinct political, economic, social, and cultural life of the state. Every indigenous individual has the right to a nationality. Article 5. Every indigenous individual has the right to a nationality. So remember I told you, look up the word nationality, because it's talking about you belonging to a nation. But if you're saying you're black, you're saying you're a stateless person. Stateless person, not belonging to any nation on the planet. You are saying that. See how this works? So if here in the rights of indigenous people, Article 15 says indigenous people have the rights to a nationality, then you look at the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, because you're saying you're a human, right? You agree with me now, right? You broke the spell of calling yourself black, calling yourself their black slave, their property, right? So now you agree that you're a human. So now look up the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. I'll give you Article 15. Article 15 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights states, everyone has the right to a nationality. No one can be arbitrarily deprived the right of a nationality. No one can be denied the right to change his or her nationality. See that, family? This is facts over feelings. This ain't what the Moors believe. This ain't what their club is telling you. I'm telling you what exists in the universe, family, as law. Not my belief, because I don't care what you believe. The truth doesn't care what you believe. I want to know what you know. I want to know what you can prove. Facts over feelings. That's how we doing it. If you haven't met me, you know what I'm saying, on any of my broadcasts, you know what I'm saying, any of my Facebook videos, welcome, YouTube family. Islam, you know what I'm saying, because we're going to get out of this. And when I say Islam, I mean I self, law, am, master. Know thyself, govern thyself, because we the people are the government. Wake up. Keep saying you conscious, you running around, you know, identity crisis, running around with dashikis from India, you know what I'm saying, and shea butter from India, you know what I'm saying, screaming black power, screaming ancient black Africans and all this other stuff. When you say you conscious, but you ain't conscious, because you ain't consciously taking action. You say you conscious, but you ain't conscious of where you are, who you are, and who they're not. Once you study, can't nobody play you. Study more to know more. Article 6 of the rights of indigenous people. Indigenous people have the collective right to live in freedom, peace, and security in distinct people, as distinct people, and to full guarantees against genocide or any other act of violence. Any other act of violence. Genocide. Ain't that what you're seeing? They trying to wipe us out? Genocide. Why they haven't deported you back to Africa, buddy? Nowhere Africa, because it doesn't exist. That story that they're telling you doesn't exist. You left home, your other side of home, long time ago. But all of this is your home, your ancestral state, if you choose to claim so. Right? Acts of violence, including the removal of indigenous children from their families and communities under any pretext. They're not removing your children from the home. But don't they do that with the DIFIS and all that, DHSS, when whatever that shit's called? You know what I'm saying? They remove your child from the home when they say you're not treating the child right, because you signed your child over with the birth certificate, which is a receipt of sale, that you signed your child over to the state. They're a ward of the state. Right? They call your child a minority. You think minority means black. They tell you all these words mean black. Minority just means incompetent. You're a child. You don't understand. They have to explain it to you. Right? When your kids miss days in school, what happens? You know, they'll send you to court. They'll lock you up because the child belongs to the state. Because property can't own property. You confess that you're the black slave. You're the black. But you were a Negro before. You were a coon before. You were an African American before. Yeah. Well, which one are you this week? And where is Black Land, Africa, America on any map? Show me it, scholars. Show me it. Pan-Africanists, show me it. Show me Black Land on the map. In addition, they have the individual right to life, physical and mental integrity, liberty and security of person, your property. Yeah, this is what the indigenous people have. These are the rights given to the indigenous people from Allah, your birthrights, your unalienable rights, your unalienable rights. Yeah, your birthrights. And we're not talking sovereign citizen shit here, buddy. No, sovereignty just means nobility, right? No, the noble one of the land, the ruler of the land. That's you. The heir of the ancestral state. No spooky shit. No, we're gonna bang on government. We're sovereign citizens. No, miss me with that shit, family. Study more to know more. We talking about claiming your nation that's already yours, that they're trying to steal right from under you. Because you're trying to get back to nowhere Africa. Well, if you're trying to get back to nowhere Africa, why don't you take one of the slave ships they can't seem to find back to nowhere Africa? See if you can claim a nation over there. So anybody telling you that story, tell them, well, what exact nation they took you from Africa? Because you can't be an African. You have to be from one of the nation states over there. There's 54 plus nation states over in Africa, buddy. So which one did they take you from? And why do most of the people on the continent over there, none of them know the slave story? They don't know that you're gone. No milk cartons with slave ships on there saying we're looking for our lost family. They don't know the story until they come here, family, and get the lie. But they don't be the lie in belief, because they see the lie in belief. Article 7, family. Article 7, the rights of indigenous people. Article 7 says, indigenous people have the collective and individual right not to be subject to ethnocide and cultural genocide. They stole your culture, wiped out your culture, including prevention of and redress for, look up the word redress, any action which has the aim of effect of depriving them of their integrity as distinct people, or of their cultural values of ethnic identities. B, any action which has the aim or effect of dispossessing them of their lands, right? They're trying to steal your land, right? They relocating people, and then you remember the people in Katrina, none of them people can go back home, and they stole the land from under the people's feet, relocated you like a refugee on your own land. What Martin Luther King tell you? The Negro finds himself in exile in his own land. Exile in his own land. He didn't say, let's get back to nowhere Africa. He said, you're standing on Africa. You're standing on your land. He told you that. He died for that truth. That one day you would come to the realization of that truth. Continue on to say, any action which has the aim or effect of dispossessing them of their lands, territories, and resources. See, they stripped us of our lands, our resources, family, and we running around like we poor. When the service company, not the land, the United States Service Company is bankrupt. The States United, the independent nation States United, that's the people. Clear distinction, family. They're having two different conversations. You know, the land of the forked tongue, that's why they got this kind of peace. But we talking about unity, not divide and conquer. Not what your church is talking about. My church got all the truth. Them across the street don't got it. Somebody's competing to see who can fill up their collection plate first. That's what it looks like to me. got to pay that tribute to the Pope. They got to give their thanks to the Pope, the substitute God, because God don't have a bank account. So they stripped you of your resources, family, and left you in the capacity of the slave status. Any form of population transfer, it can't move you around on your land like FEMA's trying to do, right? We're going to take you to a Walmart FEMA camp. We're going to help you. You're going to find out that ain't no doorknobs, you know what I'm saying, on the door when the shit shut. That's it. That's all. They're going to try to close the book on all you slaves that want to continue to be their property. They got to get rid of the evidence. The international community is about to charge them for all of their atrocities that they committed upon the world, the casualties that they racked up. Allah's about to charge them. So any form of population transfer which has the aim or effect of violating or undermining any of their rights, any form of assimilation or integration by other cultures or ways life imposed on them by legislature, administrative or other measures, right? Civil rights. You can drink at the water fountain, buddy. Not human rights. Any form of propaganda directed against them. So what you see on your timelines, right, family? When they delete your comment, right? You disagree with somebody on Facebook, they'll delete your comment, try to delete your page. But on Facebook, they're showing all the shootings, all the cop shootings, murdering you on the timeline. Nobody's flagging those pages. How can you show a murder to my 5-year-old baby? How can you do that? Show a murder on the timeline on Facebook, but they delete somebody's comment because somebody disagreed with you. Why is Facebook allowing that to stay up? Because they're promoting propaganda to show that your life has no value. Black lives matter. Property lives don't matter, buddy. Because when you're screaming black lives, you're screaming property lives. And a property doesn't have a life. Want to prove it? I can't breathe. Hands up, don't shoot. All these affirmations that we're already dead. Then the Black Lives Matter group, with all the money and the donations they got, millions and millions from George Soros, they create a motherfucking die-in where people are laying on the roads, blocking up bridges and shit, laying like they dead bodies. Does that sound like a defeated people to you? Being directed by the Europeans, the pilgrims that's running these organizations? You've seen the proof. They had a pilgrim running the NAACP. She wasn't a sister, but she could pretend to be a sister because you pretending to be black too, ain't you? What y'all mad at her for? She's learning from y'all. They always learning from us because we taught the whole world. Or you want to just say that we slaves and we don't know shit. But then they tell you Black History Month, all these great inventions, right? They make sure you miss it because they tell you the shortest month of the year about all these things you created, and they ain't invent shit but the patent office, including electricity. They ain't invent that. They stole that from Nikola Tesla, and then they stole that from our ancient ancestors that was doing that because we had lit up cities in Hakupta, which is Egypt, thousands of years ago. So, yeah. They just know how to steal, kill, and lie. Steal, kill, and lie. That's all they know how to do. But you are the tribe of Judah, the proud lion. And these motherfuckers are just lying. Still lying. Jew ain't a real liar, Jew. Jew's just a liar, Jew. You know what I mean? That's it. You ain't a real Jew. You just a liar, Jew. Real shit. Article 8 of the Rights of Indigenous People. Indigenous people have the collective and distinct individual right to maintain and develop their distinct identities and characteristics, including the right to identify themselves as indigenous people and to be recognized as such. Right? You are the ID. The prophet said that ID is going to change in your pocket, family. So even without your national ID card, you are the ID. Your competence that knows that this is your land. Just confess it and be. Then you'll get your cards, you get your documentation, you'll get all that. But I have never had to pull out my card. I just stand on my square truth. And they know they looking Allah in the face. And they look away. Because they the devils acting on their devolved nature. Because the heaven and hell exist inside your temple. Higher self, lower self. We're going to deal with science here, family. Facts over feelings. Give y'all some of that more science. I ain't giving you no belief shit. I'm not giving you a club. I don't care what you believe. The truth doesn't care what you believe. I want to know what you know. I want to know what you can prove. Article 10 of the Rights of Indigenous People. Indigenous people are individuals have the right to belong to an individual indigenous people and individuals have the right to belong to an indigenous community or nation in accordance with the traditions and customs of the community or nation concerned. Right? You got the right to practice as you so see fit. God gave you that right. Allah gave you that right. You understand that? No disadvantage. of any kind may arise from the exercise of such. Article 10 of the Rights of Indigenous People. Indigenous people shall not be forcibly removed from their lands or territories. That's FEMA forcing you out of your homes, family. So if you're in an area where the hurricane, might be hitting you, don't leave your homes, family. Get you an evacuation plan, family. Don't let them take you out your home. They trying to flood you out, wash you out, right? Remember the Great Flood? They trying to wash you out with these HAARP manufactured bogus ass hurricanes. And the next hurricane they're trying to plan for is heading toward New York City, family. And they're saying it's heading toward New York City on 9/11, family. On Wednesday, I'm going to do a powerful live stream on that, family, and I'll give y'all more. But don't get yourself led into one of these camps. You see the Simpsons predicted it, right? They show you the FEMA camps. The Simpsons predicted a lot of shit in history. They predicted the election of your boy Trump because they already had him in place. It was already in place, family. They gave you Obama in 2008 because the people they had enough of this shit. And they gave you the illusion that you won something. But he's not the black president. Obama told you he's a Kenyan American. He has a nationality. He's not saying he's an African American. He says I'm a Kenyan American. See the distinction? And he's the person that signed the rights of indigenous people. Obama was the only president to sign the rights of indigenous people. So when you continue to say, oh, he ain't did nothing for black people, of course, he's not going to do nothing for black slaves, for property, belonging to someone else, belonging to the Christian church. But he can do something for the humans, the Aboriginal indigenous ones of the land. So he did such in honor when he was in that office, right? If he ain't, I know some other stuff they forced that brother to do that I'm not going to praise him for. But he did sign the rights of indigenous people, which is the article we're reviewing today. Study more to know more. Facts over feelings. So we go on to Article 10. You can't be forcibly removed from your lands or your territories, people. Indigenous people, right? Slaves can. You better pick which side you on. No relocation shall take place without the free and informed consent of the indigenous people concerned and after agreement on just and fair compensation. They got to pay you. They got to compensate you if they trying to tell you to relocate. They got to give you the bag before they tell you to leave. So don't fall for that Red Cross is getting the donations. They collected millions, family, since Katrina, and those people are still homeless till this day. Collected millions, family. You got people in Detroit for years still got dirty water with lead in it. They're trying to kill you. But they do a test. They tested in one city. They see where our heart's at. Oh damn, they don't care about their family in the Motor City. Oh wow, let's try it in another state. Let's try it in another state. Let's try it in another territory. This is what they're doing, family. Facts over feelings, no conspiracy. Just examine the facts. Argue with the facts. Don't argue with me. I'm giving you the truth with love, presenting it with love. What you do with it is entirely on you. So you can't be forcibly removed from your home, family. These are the rights of indigenous people. This is the distinction of saying I am that I am the human. I am not the black slave, the property. They're not talking about black skin color. They're talking about black status, black slave. The stateless person. The person that belongs to no nation on the planet because you're from nowhere, Africa. See? So they saying they can't move you forcibly off your land without your consent, right? They make you sign a waiver. Yeah, we're going to relocate you. You better get a bag. Don't be forced out your home, family. Don't do it. Don't fall for this storm that they manufacturing. We're going to get through this, family. And this week I'm going to do, the survival plan video. I'm going to do all this stuff. Because if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Facts over feelings. You can't pray out this shit. You can't pay out this. Competence, right and exact knowledge, standing on your square truth, being those proud-hearted lions instead of the coward-hearted lions, and just uplifting fallen humanity. So they can't forcibly take you out your home without your consent. Article 11 of the Rights of Indigenous People. Indigenous people have the right to special protection. Look at this, family. Indigenous people have the right to special protection and security in periods of armed conflict. Martial law. You're protected during martial law because you're the Aboriginal indigenous native, the national of the land. You're not in all the bullshit that when they start rounding up the sheep, rounding up the slave, rounding up the people that have no identity, the super predators, the useless eaters, the code words they use. The slaves belonging to the Christian church. Keep saying you a Christian when your Jesus said he was Hebrew. Wow, you've been duped. Somebody lied to you, buddy. So, you know what I'm saying? You got special protection during armed conflicts, right? And states shall observe international standards. In particular, the 4th Geneva Convention of 1949. Look up the 4th Geneva Convention of 1949, family. Study more to know more. I'm not giving you my opinions, my beliefs. I'm giving you facts over feelings. For the protection of civilian population in circumstances of emergency and armed conflict. See? So you're protected during emergency and armed conflict. During martial law, the nationals are protected by just being themselves. But if you're confused and you got your driver's license card, which is a privilege, saying that you got the right to drive through the DMV, when driving applies to commercial vehicles, livery cabs, Uber, people doing commerce. But travel, your right to travel to and from the earth, that was given to you by Allah. That's your birthright. So when they see your license ID, oh, this nigga's a slave. He don't have a national ID? Yeah, you're going to the FEMA camps. They're going to say, oh, well, we just want to help you. Well, just come on out your house. We're going to take you to a nice place. And yeah, they'll make you comfortable slaves because y'all comfortable being slaves. So they'll accommodate you. They got plenty of room in those Walmart superstores. Trust me, they do. So in a time of armed conflict, you're protected. And you shall not, indigenous people, slaves, maybe, but slaves, definitely. But the indigenous humans, they shall not be recruited. They cannot recruit indigenous individuals against their will into the armed forces. We will not be fighting the war that y'all niggas started, because y'all stealing the world's resources and then trying to get the people to fight for you. Coward-ass United States Service Company. So you can't recruit the people against their will into armed forces, in particular for use against other indigenous people. They're trying to get you to fight with Korea, right? Other indigenous people. They cannot recruit indigenous children into the armed forces under any circumstances. They can't take your babies, family. That's the rights of the indigenous people. They're going to take your slaves. They're going to take them slave babies, because property can't own property. I already proved to you that your child's a ward of the state. They belong to the state. They do not belong to you. You signed them over via the birth certificate. Birth certificate is a receipt of sale. Said that the baby was sold. You don't own them and they do. By your own confession. Because you're claiming to be their black property. Thinking it's Afrocentricity, black pride, black power shit. When black power be you lack power. Casting a spell on yourself. Please look up the word black. Get out of your fucking feelings and grow up and be an adult. Buddy. They cannot force indigenous individuals to abandon their land. They can't force you to abandon your land, family. Remember, evacuate. They're creating this storm to try to flood your house, family. Stay there. If you can board up and you can, you know what I'm saying, you got an escape plan, do what you got to do, protect yourself, and your family. I'm not telling you to be foolish, but I'm telling you that when they pushing people out their house, family, they're trying to, gentrification? Yeah, they trying to wipe you out of your land, and you have no claim to it. When you relocate, right, when the storm's over, you got nowhere to go back to. Ask the people in Katrina. They still can't go back home. Right? So they can't force individuals to abandon their land. Indigenous people, they can't enforce you to abandon your land, territory, or means of sustenance. Or relocate them in special centers for military purpose. Special centers for military purpose. These are the FEMA camps we're talking about, family. I don't care if you believe the truth. I want to know that you studied it and you actually know the truth. Because I don't care what you believe. I don't care if you don't even want to believe me. I'm giving you the truth. Examine it, please. If you're not, give it to your babies. They want it. They don't want to be lied to. They know that Babylon's falling. They know it. Indigenous people. You can't force indigenous people to work for military purposes under any discriminatory conditions. You can't force us to work, you know what I'm saying, in these military camps. And that's what they're going to do in these FEMA camps. You're going to be working like a slave, just like the slaves, you know what I'm saying, you see in Rikers and all these other penitentiaries. Yeah, they're going to do this to the people. And you want to prove it, family, you know what I'm saying? I was in that fashion show, the Kanye fashion show, and it was all set up like a slave camp. And everyone gathered into the Coliseum, right? Everybody went to Madison Square Garden, and they gathered in the Coliseum to see these captured Moors. These slaves that don't know who they are. And they don't even know that they slaves, because they in the camp and they modeling. They modeling their Yeezys in the camp. Niggas is Snapchatting from the camp. Let me see if you can Snapchat from the FEMA camp. Can you Snapchat from the FEMA camp? Do they deliver pizza to the FEMA camp? Does the weed man deliver to the FEMA camps? Maybe they got Def Comedy Jam, you know what I'm saying, in the FEMA camps. And keep you niggas entertained because y'all like to be entertained. Y'all thinking that this video is entertainment. If you heard some truth in here, family, if you've researched some of the stuff I'm talking about, share this video, family, when this live stream ends. Share this. You get 1 million views on a cop killing one of your own. You sharing a murder, promoting murders and murderers. But something like this, promoting the truth, telling you to prepare yourself for what's to come, is not going to get 1 million views. Shame on you, black slave. Keep saying you great. Rise up and be your great self. Rise up and connect yourself to the family of nations. Connect yourself back to your ancestral estate. Stop denying the ancestors. You keep screaming Ashe, Ashe, and then call yourself an ancient black ancestor. Like, what's that about? Our people wasn't calling ourselves black. Just because the statues you see in ancient Egypt who cooked her, right, is painted black, that don't mean that people were calling themselves black. It's a color. It's the color of the statue. And even if it depicted the person's skin, they weren't calling themselves black skin back then. Nope. People belong to a nation. They belong to somewhere. They're not stateless persons. Look up the word stateless person. I don't care about your feelings. I don't care about your negative comments on this video. If you're not willing to study the information we present here, family, if you're not willing to click on the link I'm going to give you, provided in the description, to download the rights of indigenous people, to say, oh shit, I got rights. You do got rights. I'm agreeing with you, black man, but I'm telling you, you ain't got rights as black. That's the status. You got privileges of the slave. But you do got rights as the indigenous one, and we're reading them. I'm telling you how to prepare yourself for them FEMA camps. For when they come a-knocking, and you don't know how to defend yourself. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. So if the word of truth ain't with you, God ain't with you. If the word of truth ain't with you, God ain't with you. And you ain't fooling nobody but your pastor. Pastor put it in my pocket with his con ass. And all of your religious leaders, your rabbis, some of your sheiks, you know what I'm saying? A lot of your pastors, all of them, right? Your imams, all of them took the oath of clergy, right? Secret Treaty of Verona, Article 3, to keep the people in a state of passive obedience, blindly following, asking questions but never getting answers, worshiping the substitute God, the Pope. All of these religions that you keep arguing with each other about, my religion's better, all of them pay tribute to the Pope. They're all spy centers. And all of your religious leaders report back to these people. I showed you and I told you, family, if you logging in, go to my Facebook. I'll leave a link and you can see the video. I'm going to upload it onto my YouTube, so you'll see it. Don't even worry about it. I'm going to upload the video, the King Alfred Plan Rex 84, because this is what they're preparing for, to wipe out the Aboriginal Indigenous ones before they claim to be themselves. You see why we running out of time? Time's up, family. We can't keep arguing about what we believe. This ain't a religion conversation, family. It's a nationality conversation. If you don't know, look up the word nationality. Ask your black leaders, what's your nationality? African American, black African American is not a fucking nationality. It doesn't exist on any map, and you don't have a flag. Sorry, buddy. Facts over feelings. They lied to you. Your black leaders are lying to you. All of them. Because any of them with a PhD, they know what black means in law. They know. They know about color of law. They know. And we know what black means, right? The appearance, the semblance of something that appears to be but not real in reality, a disguise. That's your colored people, a disguise. Pretending to be the human, but y'all colored humans, and they don't exist. Because people around the world are not colors. They belong to families of nations. See? And if you don't have a nation, right, you're a stateless person not belonging to any nation on the planet, then you won't have respect for other nations of the world. See why no one will deal with us? See why everyone dismisses us? Oh, they're so helpless. Oh, they can't figure it out. Let's stay away from them, honey. Why you don't see no pilgrims, no Europeans, you know, going crazy in the middle of the storm? A lot of them, they already got on code. They already know the storm's coming, buddy. They know it's there to wipe you out. Better stop pretending, because all this is about you, family. This whole story is about us. Article 12, the rights of indigenous people. Indigenous people have the right to practice and revitalize their cultural traditions and customs. These include the rights to maintain, protect, and develop the past, present, and future manifestations of their cultures, such as archaeology and historical sites, artifacts. So does that mean we could claim all of our artifacts that they stole and got you paying to see at the museum? Yeah, Allah's taking all his shit back. So we about to take all these Moorish artifacts from all these museums. Y'all been put on notice. Pilgrim, you've been put on notice. So we got the right to take back all our religious artifacts, all our designs, ceremonies, technologies, and visual and performing arts and literature. We taking all our copyrights back. All my artists, yeah, we taking all that back. Correct your status. Stop playing. You're not the slave, you are the human. As well as the right to the restitution of culture. See, we keep saying we want reparations. They can't repair a black nation because it doesn't exist. They can prepare your nation. It already exists. You better claim that you have a nation. Stop playing. People aren't crayons, family. You ain't tell your baby in school, black crayon, baby, you're a black crayon. You didn't tell them that. They learned their colors because they learned just that, colors. Now black became your identity? No, they blacked you out of history because your identity is unknown. Yeah, all you know is that of the slave. When they were the first slave who showed up here, right? I showed you documentation in the 1700s. They came over here. One of their slave trip voyages, the Pilgrims, right? They were enslaved by the brutish Moors because we were in Europe too. So I don't even want to call them Europeans. They're Pilgrims, right? The brutish Moors had them enslaved and they fled over here, right? So a slave ship carrying 1,500 pilgrims, Europeans, white people, right? Whites of status, right? They weren't white at the time. They were slaves. They had the status that you had, the status of the slave. So they were on a ship over here, and 1,500 of them, 1,100 of them died on the voyage over here on the ship. So how did they make thousands of successful slave trips with you over here bringing millions if they came over here on the first slave ships and, 1,100 of them died out of 1,500? They were the worst navigators in history, and you're the greatest navigators of all the original 7 seas. Yeah. So how they do something better than you? No, they enslaved you, but they enslaved you on your own land. Didn't happen. They didn't take you from nowhere, Africa. We proved it. We proved that, the hoax, the Alex Haley hoax, the whole Root story that was plagiarized. The brother died broke. He plagiarized the autobiography of Malcolm X as well. They tried to infiltrate. See? And you find out that Root story never happened. Kunta Kinte, none of that shit. That was never his ancestors. It was all made up. To keep telling you this slave story. But I'll give you a key. Since you're a black slave and you still want proof, you don't want to believe me, I'm telling you to be the human, be yourself. Watch the very first episode of that Roots series. Since you like to show it so much, you like to keep reminding yourself that you're the slave. Watch the first episode when Kunta Kinte comes to the plantation. You remember when he first comes to the plantation? He's with the guy Fiddler, right? Fiddler's taking care of the slave, and he brings him around to the other slaves on the plantation. He says, this here's the Guinea man. He's from Guinea, right? He's from Africa. That's what they say. Look that up on the map. And all the slaves say to Kunta Kinte in the Roots movie, the slaves say, we ain't never seen a real African before. So if the slaves that are slaves here, when Kunta Kinte showed up from the boat, and they saying that they're slaves, and they saying that they never seen a real African slave, but these people came on the boats from Africa, or did they? Or were they already enslaved here? Did they fuck that up in the movie? Did they tell you a piece of the truth, lesser magic, right? Show you the truth, and then you still believe the lie. You still be the lie in belief. See how that works? So if you want to watch that series, just watch that part and everything else, turn that shit off. And stop believing that story. Because they told you were a slave for 400 years. But we dispelled that. The History Channel, their own account, says slavery started 1619 Jamestown, Virginia, ended 1865. But we found out 1700s, they had to make a law in 1818, family. They made a law in 1818 in Louisiana that said Moors, free blacks, right? The Aboriginal Indigenous ones, but they called you free blacks. That was the term they used, code word, but you were free, right? We're talking about status, not color. They made a law that outlawed, the buying of white slaves, of pilgrims, of European slaves. We couldn't buy any more European slaves in 1818. So wait up, you were still a slave and you were free? Wait a minute. So maybe everybody wasn't slaves, maybe it was different areas and they were capturing people and stealing their nationality like they're doing today, putting them back into slavery by way of the status, calling themselves black. Now we voluntarily do it. That's what we do, family. Facts over feelings. I'm gonna continue on. This document is powerful, and I like to stop to keep building just so we dissect these articles. So when you read it, you're not just reading some shit, family, because they taught you how to study lies. So you get bored when you're studying. But when you're studying yourself, this better be the most exciting study that you embark on, family. Because you can't pretend to be yourself. You got to study to be yourself. Study to be yourself, to know yourself, to free yourself. That's how this works. Right? Let's go into Article 13, family. Article 13 says, Indigenous people have the right to manifest, practice, develop, and teach their spiritual and religious traditions, customs, and ceremonies. The right to maintain, protect, and have access and privacy to their religious and cultural sites. The right to the use and control of ceremony objects, all of your artifacts, and the right to the reparations of human remains, right? States shall take effective measures in conjunction with the indigenous people's concerns. So they got to make you top priority because you're the national and they're pretending to be the American, the Al-Moroccan. They're pretending to be you and you're pretending to be them. The people who showed up on ships, the slaves who showed up on ships, and they were the first slaves. Want to prove it? The word slave comes from the word Slav. Slavs, right? From Slovakia. The Russians who were enslaved by the Germans. See? That's where the first term slave ever was created. See? So they're the first place losers. You're great at everything and they're first place losers. First place liars. Yeah. So the indigenous people, the states shall take effective measures in conjunction with the indigenous people's concern to ensure that indigenous sacred places, including burial sites, be preserved, respected, and protected. See what I'm saying? Even where we bury our own family. You know what I'm saying? We can have our own private cemetery, family. And they have to respect that. Can't trample on that because this is your land. You got the right to bury your ancestors on your own land. But they charge you, right, to bury somebody. You see how they got you? But you're calling yourself the property, so you're going to forever have privileges, keep fighting and arguing for rights that you think you thought you had because you're a freedom slave, right? You're dumb thinking you're free, but you're still a slave because you got privileges of the slave. No rights like humans. Not indigenous humans, because if you did, the rights of indigenous people would make more sense to you. You wouldn't be tuning out this time in the video. You would say, oh shit, I'm indigenous. Yeah, I belong to this land. Nah, I'm not the slave. Nah, I'm not from nowhere, Africa. Damn, they didn't tell me exactly where from Africa they took me. Damn, yeah, they did. They said they made thousands of trips with thousands of ships, and they haven't saved none of the ships. So either they lying or you lying. Somebody's more convincing. Maybe we're more convincing. Maybe they're more convincing. I don't know. It's kind of balanced, ain't it? Article 14 of the rights of indigenous people. Indigenous people have the right to revitalize, use, develop, and transmit to future generations. I read that again. Article 14, the rights of indigenous people. Indigenous people have the right to revitalize, right? Get everything back. Use, develop, and transmit to future generations their histories, languages, oral traditions, philosophies, writing systems, and literatures, and to designate and retain their own names. You get your name back, family. You keep saying, black man, they stole your name. I'm telling you, claim that you're indigenous to the land. It's already back. It's already restored. Right? And the right to retain their own names for community, places, and persons. States shall take in effect whenever any rights of indigenous people may be threatened. See, they got to protect you with their military that they're using against you because they're using it on their property. Can't use it on the indigenous ones of the land. They're the visitors. They're the colonizers who showed up and never left and then called themselves Americans. Them niggas are imposters. That's why Trump doesn't say he's the American president. Look at the wording. He says he's the U.S. president, the president of the United States Service Corporation. Not the president of the land, because the heirs are asleep. So whenever the indigenous people rights may be threatened, to ensure this right is protected, and also to ensure that they can understand and be understood in political, legal, and administrative proceedings, where necessary through the provision of interpretation or by other appropriate means. So you're indigenous, you can represent yourself in the courtroom, family. You don't need a liar, right? A lawyer is a liar in Latin. You don't need to represent yourself when you're the human, but you do when you're property, when you're a minority, when you're incompetent, when you're a child. Of course they got to explain it to you. Now do you see what's going on? I represented myself in that courtroom in propria persona se juris, in full life, in my own proper person. I am that I am. Allah, God, raising from the dead, raising off the cross. That's what the story was about. It's a science book. It's not a belief thing, buddy. Because you don't believe that you can raise from the dead state that they have you in, the status of the property. Civiliter mortus, dead in the eyes of the law. There's a lot of people scared to talk about this information, family. No fear here. Let's continue on. Indigenous children have the right to all levels and forms of education of the state. All indigenous people have the rights and the rights to establish and control their educational systems. So we got the right to create our own damn schools. So why we raising money to build a school and ask them for the land and all that other stuff when the land is already ours? But we want to be black trying to do it. We want to be slaves trying to do it. We want to be their property trying to do it. But property can't own property. So any of your black scholars trying to get a black school, a slave school, they got control over it. They got control over the land. They got control over the curriculum that you teach in your school. So you ain't got no black power with that strategy. Black power, you lack power. Stop casting a spell on yourself. Grow up and look up the word black in a law dictionary. Stop playing. Stop being fooled by your fake ass scholars. It's taking all your fiat, selling you hope, selling you a bag of hope, buddy. They want you to OD on a bag of hope, because they ain't got no real remedy for you, no real solution. So it goes on to say they have a right to get education in their own languages and in a manner appropriate to the cultural method of teaching and learning. Indigenous children living outside their communities have the right to provide access to education in their own cultural and language. States shall take in effect measures to provide appropriate resources for these purposes. See, they got to give back everything they stole from the indigenous people, family. They're not going to give anything back to the slave because they don't owe the slave anything. That's the status when you're calling yourself black. You're their property. They don't own they don't owe their property nothing because they own them. But they do owe the indigenous humans everything that they stole because they're robbing from all indigenous people around the planet. But God is about to clean this mess up. You see, Babylon is falling, family. It is falling. I'm telling you, don't get scared. Just get prepared and keep God in your heart and get right with your actions and learn to master your higher and lower self. Because all religions weren't taught to have you arguing, right? Because how they love you in your religion and you're arguing. The religion was set in place to teach you to master your higher and lower self. Sorry that they lied to you. Article 16 of the Rights of Indigenous People says, Article 16, Indigenous people have the right to have the dignity and diversity of their cultures, traditions, histories, and aspirations appropriately reflected in all forms of education and public information. States shall take effective measure in consultation with the indigenous people concerned to eliminate prejudice and discrimination and to promote tolerance, understanding, and good relations among indigenous people and all segments of society. So, family, all the solutions we're talking about, stop the discrimination, stop racism, all of that stops when you agree to no longer be their property that they continue to cause injury to with immunity, and stand up and say, hey, you're injuring the indigenous humans of the land, the Aboriginals. Yeah, now it's an international crime, family. So they'll never be brought up on international crimes in an international venue until the people get competent. They're going to always get off on the shooting because they shot their black property. Facts over feelings. I don't care what you believe. I want to know what you know. I want to know what you can prove. You can prove that, right? You keep sharing on your timeline, oh man, another cop got off. Of course, they're going to all get off. And they're going to get overtime for shooting you. Because he just shot his black dog, his black horse, his black property, his black object. He didn't shoot the human because the human is not in his proper status. And I told you to look up the word persons, family, on a lot of my videos. I keep repeating that. The word persons, because in the Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, the word person, there's two kinds of persons. You have the artificial person, the company, the fictitious entity that they created, your straw man, your name, all capital letters, right? Your mom didn't name you all capital letters, but they transact and do business with you. Everything they send you, all capital letters. And then you have the person in full life, the actual human. See the distinction? You have to stand up and clear and correct your concepts and correct this error. There's a lot of error in our ego, family. And we'll stop arguing with each other when we start doing the study. Study more to know more. I don't care about your opinion. What have you studied? What can you confirm? Oh, just empty belief? Empty opinions? Opinions are like assholes. Everybody got one. Most of the time, they just talking shit. Most of the time, they just talking shit. So I want to know what you know. Indigenous people, Article 16, right? And all segments of society. Article 17, the rights of indigenous people. Indigenous people have the right to establish their own media in their own languages. Wow. They also have the right to equal access to all forms of non-indigenous media. They can't censor you on YouTube, buddy. Yeah, they can't do. They're violating my rights as an indigenous human of this land. Facebook is. They're going to be charged soon enough. Yeah, they're going to be charged soon enough for tampering with my intellectual property, right? Tampering with my intellectual property. So Facebook, you've been served. Article 17 of the rights of indigenous people. Indigenous people have the right to enjoy fully all rights established under international labor law and national labor legislation. Look that up, family. Remember, we fighting for minimum wage and all this other stuff? Yeah, the human is due a worthy wage. But the slave, they're going to give you whatever they decide to give you. You see, family, we fighting for rights that we already have. We just have to claim to be ourselves. And these rights are restored instantaneously. And I'll give you a quote from the elder John Henry Clark. He says there's nothing wrong with the word black. Nothing at all. I'm not attacking your black club, your belief, none of that stuff. I'm telling you to correct your concepts. It's nothing wrong, as the elder John Henry Clark says. It's nothing wrong with the word black. It just doesn't tie you to a land, a language, or a country. Or people. See, you've been duped. It only ties you to the group of black slaves that thought they got free, right? They thought they got free after the Civil War. And they just changed your status. Still made you the slave, took the chains off your hands, but you still got mental shackles on. That's the reality, family. Facts over feelings. I don't care what you believe. Keep your club. Keep your book. They're science books. When you really find out what's in those books, you can use them. But if you looking at them and not getting the anthropomorphic story, and you're looking at these characters and following characters, and you're going to be lost. They're going to keep you in a child degree, in a state of passive obedience. So we got the right, Article 17, to create our own media. And we got the right, you know what I'm saying, to not be discriminated on any of their media venues. Yeah, the human does. Article 18, the rights of indigenous people. Indigenous people have the right to establish their own... indigenous people have the right to enjoy fully all rights established under international labor law and national labor legislation. I just read that, Article 18. Article 19. Article 18, the continuation. Indigenous individuals have the right not to be subject to any discriminatory conditions of labor, employment, or salary. They can't discriminate. Hey, have you ever been convicted of a crime? All these motherfuckers should be convicted of a crime. They tried to steal a land that didn't belong to them. Tried to steal people. Like, come on, family. They go around stealing everything that don't belong to them. So they should be convicted of a crime. So they ask you at your damn job on that question on the application, have you ever been convicted of a crime? No, I haven't. But the United States Service Company should be convicted of a crime. Write that in and see how they take it. Right? So you can't be discriminated against employment. And you see the employment rate, right? You see the unemployment rate, right? A lot of us are looking for jobs. Because they don't want to hire you in the status of the slave. They don't need no more slaves. You already built the land. You built the land that they're trying to steal. They don't need you anymore. They just need wage slaves. They want to tax you. IRS is a private company unto themselves. And again, tune into my feed, family, 3RDIHIGH, INFONET. I'm going to upload my video I did on the IRS, showing you how that, that they're a private company, and how to address them, and how to get that tax situation dissolved, discharged, dissolved, wiped away, non-existent, because it's a fraudulent debt sent to you by a fraudulent company that's committing mail fraud through the mail when they're saying that they're a part of the Treasury and they're not a part of this government. Private company unto themselves. You're going to find that through the study, family. I have another video I'll upload. All through the week, I'm going to be uploading my videos, from Facebook. The 31 questions to ask the IRS. You see? That's the powerful thing. And when you get through that, you're going to find out that they're criminals. That they're stealing from the American people. They're stealing from the Aboriginal indigenous ones. The Al-Moroccans. The ancient Moroccans. The ancient Moabites. But you want to keep saying that you're a religion. You can't be a religion. You have to belong to a nation. Religion, nationality. Religion, nationality. Two different conversations. You educated dummies want to have a religious conversation. I'm not talking about what you believe. I want to have an intelligent discourse. Let's have a nationality conversation, family. For the first time in our lives. Article 19 of the rights of indigenous people. Indigenous people have the right to participate fully, if they so choose, at all levels of decision making in matters which may affect their rights. Oh, so you have the right to be present in all decision making, but in this black status, you don't, right? Because at the black status, you heard of the 3/5 compromise, right? 5 black votes only equal 3 votes. So even if y'all do try to vote somebody in that they selected, they're gonna rig that shit. So we have to correct this, family. We can't vote none of them in a fraudulent office, in a de facto government. That's not gonna work. I'll go on. Article 19. Indigenous people have the right to fully participate if they so choose. At all, because you're part and parcel to this said government, at all levels of decision making in matters which may affect their rights, lives, and destinies, through representatives chosen by them, chosen by us, not voted, fake voting system by them, that they rig every election, by you, the Aboriginal Indigenous ones, the natives of the land, the actual Native Americans, because in the end, you are the Indian. But we're not using that term Indian, family. I'm talking about the Aboriginals. Correct your concept. Article 19. We have the right in all decision making, right, which may affect our lives and destinies through representatives chosen by themselves in accordance with their own procedures, right? Because you are the law, family. You have to understand that the law starts with you. As well as to maintain and develop their own indigenous decision-making institutions. That's our temples, family. Because the prophet said they're still our temples. It's just some of the temples are not right and exact. But there are many temples that are on their square. Salute Islam. Salute to all the temples that are on their square right and exact. Teaching civics. Teaching what the prophet taught. Teaching to uphold that constitution. See? Teaching to enforce that constitution. That's what we supposed to do. So if that temple ain't teaching that, you in the wrong temple. But first you got to get your temple right. Because the flesh is the temple and the temple is the church. Yeah, and once you get your temple right, you can join any temple of your choosing. But as the prophet said, it's going to be Moors coming in with their eye open. That third eye open. Their third eye going to be high. So if your sheik is not on his square of truth, the people going to spot it. But again, if your sheik is right and exact and he's teaching civics and he's teaching nationality, Islam salute to you. More? Do more, more. That's what I say to you. Article 20 of the rights of indigenous people. Indigenous people have the right to participate fully, if they so choose, through procedures determined by them in devising legislative or administrative measures that may affect them. Oh yeah, a lot of rights given to the indigenous people. I haven't heard any rights about black people in here. Nowhere about black people. They haven't mentioned black people and humans in the same sentence. Think it's a coincidence? Nothing in the universe is a coincidence. States shall obtain the free and informed consent of the peoples concerned before adopting and implementing such measures. They have to get the consent because you are Allah. See, they got to get the consent of God. And you keep waiving your rights. You keep giving them consent because you keep signing contracts. Anything that requires your signature is a contract. And you're signing it in the dead status, the status of the property. So you have no rights protecting that contract. So you continue to get injured. I'm just analyzing what you're going through, family, that you're calling racism. It's not racism. No such thing as the white race. White's a status, family. Look up free white persons. Webster's Dictionary 1825. Look it up. It tells you white person does not mean Caucasian race. I repeat, free white persons does not mean Caucasian race. It's a status. If you could talk to someone from the continent, from Egypt, right, from Hukupta, ask to look at their passport. It'll say free white persons. But their skin is like yours. Because it's a status, buddy. Yeah. Look up the word status. Stop playing with this. Facts over feelings. I don't care what you believe. The truth doesn't care what you believe. I want to know what you know. I want to know what you can prove. Right? Article 21, the rights of indigenous people. Indigenous people have the right to maintain and develop their political, economic, and social systems to be secure in the enjoyment of their own means of sustenance and development, and to engage freely in all their traditional and other economic activities. Indigenous people who have been deprived See, we're indigenous and we're being deprived. We're being deprived because we've been tricked into holding on to the status of black, the status of the property, the status of the black slave. We've been tricked into that. So we're being deprived of our rights that are already given to us by birth, our birthrights. But you must claim them. You must claim that you are indigenous. You must look up the rights of indigenous people that I will leave in the comment, in the description section, the link for you to download it. Study more to know more, right? Indigenous people who have been deprived of their means of sustenance and development. See, we've been deprived. Are entitled to just and fair compensation, family. So what we just found out, family, how do we get reparations? They only give reparations to nations. Not black nations, not African American nations. The nation that exists, family, your nation. You are the original American, family, the Al-Moroccan, right? Descendants of the ancient Moroccans, descendants of the ancient Moabites and Canaanites, right? Who left the other side of your land, Africa, right? On their own free will and set up over here. That's your lineage, family, that you're cutting yourself off from. So we saying the Great Pyramids and all, yeah, we attribute it to all that. But did you know that there's more pyramids over here? The Egypt over here than over there? Yeah. You know about the pyramids in South America, right? Because if I'm in Central America, South America, North America, I'm still in America. We think America is the United States, just this little portion. When America is the continents, right? Your ancestral state. North America, South America, Central is just the same part of North America, but in all the adjoining islands. That's your ancestral state that they keep hiding you from. And you want to say you belong to nowhere Africa. I go on. Article 22 of the Rights of Indigenous People. Indigenous people have the right to special measures for the immediate, effective, and continuing improvement of their economic and social conditions. You keep saying we don't have nothing. We're poor, we're this to that, right? You can restore all of the riches that were stolen from you. But you have to correct your concept. You have to correct the status. You have the status of the slave, family. Black doesn't mean pride, family. It denotes to you being property belonging to them, family. And they deal with you by the way of the Christian black codes, family. The rules and regulations, family. That's why, you call it discrimination. You call it racism. Come on, family, let's wake up. You say you conscious. It's time to be consciously taking action out here. Right? I don't care how many pyramids you've seen, and you just trying to game me and hit me with another pyramid scheme. Nope. My land is over here. Our land is over there too. But your ancestors fell here. Claim the land over here. And we can correct this internationally. It starts home first, right, family? Got to get your home right? So you can clean up the neighborhood, right? Got to clean up your home first. See? So, Article 22, the rights of indigenous people. Indigenous people have the right to special measures for the immediate, effective, and continuing improvement of their economic and social conditions, including in the areas of employment, vocational training, and restraining, housing, sanitation, health, and social security. So all of these services that this service company is in dishonor, acting like they're providing to us, we can provide to ourselves. It's already restored. We just have to be aware that you already have the power. Stop screaming black power, you lack power, right? You keep saying you lack power, and that's all you do, lack power. And just realize and be yourselves, Moors, and realize all the power that Allah already gave you, that God already gave you, the supreme force, the Most High, Yahweh, whatever vibration you subscribe to. We're saying the same thing, because I'm not talking religion with you. I'm talking about nationality. Facts over feelings. Particular attention shall be paid to the rights and special needs of indigenous elders. See, they got to take care of the elders, right? You see how Social Security, right? 2008, they stole all the elders' money, and you got grandmom 65 got to work at McDonald's because they stole her retirement money. They're fucking criminals, family, and they're gonna try to crash this shit again in 2018. I'm gonna do more videos in the future. Tune in, subscribe, like, and share, please. Because we gonna study more to know more, family. Let's stop pretending that we know everything. It's just easier to know. It's easier to know. Because when you know, you can show. No talking, you can show. So it goes on to say they gotta take care of the elders, the children, and disabled persons. They're not looking out for them right now. They're not providing that service. See, because we the people are the government. We got to provide the service to our own indigenous family members. Yeah, I'll read one more. Article 23. Indigenous people have the right to determine and develop priorities and strategies for exercising their rights to development. In particular, indigenous people have the right to determine and develop health, housing, and other economic and social programs affecting them, and as far as possible, to administer such programs through their own institutions. See, we got to get those temples right. Because the prophet said every temple should have a school. Every temple should have a school. So if you're in your temple having Sunday school and they ain't really teaching civics, they ain't teaching you that real Moor science, they not standing on their square. They not right and exact. They not doing what the prophet said to uplift fallen humanity. But I'm just here to put the clean glass next to the dirty glass. I'm not even going to call you a dirty Moor. I'm going to let your actions call you a dirty Moor. And let the people dismiss you. I'm not going to waste my energy. I'm gonna forever thrive off my higher self, my higher vibration. That Allah frequency. Pardon my Allahness. If you want to be a sellout, sell out your people. Pardon my Allahness, because I'm just standing on my square truth. And it's gonna be Moors walking into those temples with their third eye high. Yeah. Can't lie to them, because they're gonna be able to see the lie in belief. They're not gonna be the lie in belief. They're gonna see the lie. Article 23. Article 24 of the Rights of Indigenous People. Indigenous people have the right to their traditional medicines and health practices, including the right to the protection of vital medicinal plants, animals, and minerals. They also have the right to access, without any discrimination, to all medical institutions, health services, and medical care. So they got Obamacare, this care, that care. Nobody cares, right? They got Trump don't care. Right? That's the new healthcare they got. Trump don't care, right? But they're telling you that the indigenous people have the right, to practice holistic medicine, right? You have the right to not, get your kid, the immunization shot when they're injecting your kids with viruses and later disease, time-release disease that they will catch later, right? And I'll put this later in the description, family. The exemption form for the immunization exemption form. That you can, give to any schools if you still have your kids in there. If not, try to homeschool them. But if they're still, in these institutions, right, and they're forcing you, saying you got to give your kid a shot or he can't come to school, look in the description, and I'm gonna put the immunization exemption shot, so you can get them off your back. Because now you got to claim to be indigenous. Get the rights back that are already yours. Stop complaining about the privilege you have in your slave capacity, but you voluntarily can continue to call yourself the slave, the black slave. But you think they talking about black skin. They're not talking about black skin. Sorry. Black and white are statuses. Look them up in law. Look them up in law. Don't comment nothing negative. Anybody with a negative comment on this live stream, I'm not going to respond to you. I'm going to slap the shit out of you with the truth. That's it. I'm going to keep doing more and more of these videos. Study more to know more. Keep presenting to the truth to the family. And you can't stop it. If you're an agent volunteer and you got to put a comment here trying to, take the people away from this message, hey, we're going to know about you. I'm just going to hashtag put a donut down there, and I'm going to dismiss you. I'm not going to respond to any negativity on this feed. We trying to uplift fallen humanity, not continue to keep them in the state in which they fell. So, we're going to know who they are. I'm going to know if this is family tuning in on the live stream or it's, some agent volunteers. So if you see the agent volunteers on the live stream, family, just type in AV. I'll go back, we'll start blocking accounts. That's how we'll do it. Facts over feelings. Right? I don't care what you believe. I want to know what you know. I want to know what you can prove. So I'll continue on for that one, right? So we got the right to our healthcare services. We got the right, salute to the elder Dr. Sabi, right? I want to send a big Allah salute to the elder Dr. Sabi, right? Who cured AIDS, who cured diabetes, who cured cancer, all of these things. They're still trying to hide it. They try to bury that brother's memory, right? Try to defame that brother, and you got some of our people running with that. Saying, oh, he ain't cured, he ain't do, like, family, I've known people, that were cured by what? By what? By the plants, by the herbs. Because it says in your own Bible, the herbs are for the healing of the nation. So that holistic medicine, that's our way out of this, family. Don't use none of that manufactured drugs with 100 motherfucking side effects, right? You take a drug of theirs for a headache, and then they say, it might cause dizziness, might cause drowsiness, you might die. Might cause diarrhea, might cause bleeding from the eyes, but you just took a pill because you had a headache. See, they don't care. We're lab rats. They're going to test all their medications on you because it's not medicine. It's sorcery, right? Look up the word pharmacy. It has a lot to do with sorcery, family. Don't they got to write a prescription? They're casting a spell when they write you a prescription? Yeah. So we overstand at this point, family. I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to tune in later, right? I want the family to tune in later. I'm going to do part 2. I'm going to make this a part 2 because, we went in. I'm going to make a part 2 of the rights of indigenous people, family. And in the description, I'll put the link so you can download it and the family can get their study. Because when you study yourself, you can be yourself. And then you can free yourself. And you can stop complaining. See? Facts over feelings. You got to look at the facts. Don't argue with this video. Don't comment something negative. Well, I'm black, and that's what you Moors believe, and that's a club. Right now, I'm talking about the rights of indigenous people, the rights of the humans. You keep saying you want rights, and I'm telling you these the rights that God already gave you. Allah already gave them to you. And I'm telling you how they got stolen because you confess to have a status that makes you property, that gives you no rights, only privileges. Facts over feelings. This ain't what I believe. This ain't what the Moors believe. No, this is the way it is in the universe. It exists. The truth doesn't cease to exist because you don't know about it. Ignorance of the law is no excuse. I'll read one last one. I'll stop at 25. Article 25, the rights of indigenous people. Indigenous people have the right to maintain and strengthen their distinctive spiritual and material relationships with the lands, their territories, waters, and coastal seas, and other resources which they have traditionally owned or otherwise occupied or used, and to uphold their responsibilities to future generations in this regard. So what they're telling you, that everything that was stolen from you, that you keep saying that you don't have nothing, they stole your culture, they stole your land, they stole your history, they stole your nationality, all of these things will be restored with your competence, with your study, with your practicing the action of being yourself, not pretending to be yourself, not dressing up in your conscious fucking costume. Because if you say you conscious, you got to be conscious. And if you say you conscious, are you conscious of where you are, who you are, and who they're not? If you can't figure out that riddle, family, you're going to be forever stuck in the matrix. Peace, love, and light to the family. I am Islam Bey. And when I say Islam, I mean I self, law, am, master. Know thyself, govern thyself. Because we the people are the government. You are charged to enforce this constitution. You are part and parcel to this said government. Stand on your square truth, because truth is the only thing that's going to help us fight this battle, family. Your sword of truth can cut a tank in half. And I told you, the first fight will be a spiritual fight, family. You must master your higher and lower selves. Raise up from the state in which you fell. I am charged, and now you are charged. The more I learn, the more I teach. The more I learn, the more I teach. The more I know, the more I show, the more I grow. The more I know, the more I show, the more I grow. Whatever's not growing is dying, family. You might have to check the pulse of some of your family, because we're talking to the walking dead. We're talking to zombies. But it's time to no longer be weak in at Bernie's, no longer be the dead body. Just confess that I am, and just be. Be yourselves, Moors. Be active Moors, not passive Moors. Continue to stand on your square. Until next time, I am Islam Bey, and I'm going to leave with our 5 solutions that none of your sellout black leaders can give you. The 5 solutions that the Prophet gave us. What are they, family? Love, truth, peace, freedom, justice. That all. Islam. Salute to all my nationals, right? I don't hang with niggas, I hang with nationals. Salute to all my nationals. Hashtag, where are the slave ships? And you know they got the anniversary of 9/11 coming. Hashtag, where's the gold? Hashtag, where's the gold, buddy? Because that shit was a bank job. And they robbed the international community. And hashtag, where are the slave ships? Hashtag, where's the gold? Hashtag, are you a slave? Hashtag, are you a freedom slave? Hashtag, agent volunteers, taking no days off. Neither are the people. You can't censor the revolution, because the revolution is now. Peace, love, and light to the family. Until next time, share this, family, because the more I teach, the more I know, the more I study, the more I learn, the more I teach. And you are teaching just by sharing this video, family. Let's get 1 million views on this one. Let's share this. Let's play this back. And tonight I'll do the part 2, because it's a lot more. I just read already up to Article 25 of the Rights of Indigenous People, but I'm gonna go through the entire document, family. Study more to know more. Study, study, study. And then you will ask what to study next. I tell you to study yourself. In the words of the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, peace, love, and light to the family, Islam. And when I say Islam, I mean I self, law, am, master. Are you mooring today? Are you mooring every day?